welcome to Super Tuesday, presented by Progressive. You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN, and yes, this triple header of hoops here on ESPN2 continues at a rocking Marriott Center. Couple of likely lottery freshman star for Baylor and for BYU. There's Yegor Demon opposite VJ Edgecombe. Alongside King McClure, the former Baylor Bear, I'm Mike Monaco. Big game in the Big 12 for both these teams, and stud freshmen.
Two teams evenly matched. Mike, we are in for a treat because they're both on win streaks and they're both playing exceptionally well.
You saw BYU get that 80-52 win here on Saturday against Cincinnati. 4-4 you see in the bottom right of your screen in the Big 12, tied for 7th. Baylor at 5-3, and a triple falls early for Trevin Nell, the 26-year-old, the oldest player in college basketball.
Well, that's one thing that you're going to have to be aware of as you see the starting lineups. If you're going to switch like Baylor does on the defensive side, you have to switch up to eliminate the three-point shot, especially when Trevin Nell has the basketball.
Shooters all over the place. You saw those starters for Baylor still dealing with injuries. Still no Jeremy Roach or Langston Love. Nor Chad O'Meara has expanded his range this year. And we get a foul on the floor that goes against BYU on the rebounding action.
For Baylor, it's all about controlling the tempo tonight, Mike. You have a short bench. You're only about 6 to 7 deep. And when you're playing in Utah with the altitude, that might come into factor, but you have to control the tempo and maybe slow it down if you're Baylor.
Against a deeper BYU team, you saw the starters. Richie Saunders, 15 in white, with the headband as always. 15 a game, and Demon, the 6'9" passing point guard. Corner 3 falls for VJ Edgecombe, 4th on our draft board.
And he's playing exceptionally well, especially on the offensive side of things.
Saunders wanted a foul underneath, doesn't get it, and so Jaden Nunn pushes for Baylor. The senior in the mid-range, can't knock it down, and the rebound secured by Keba Keita. Demon directs with one of those switches, had O'Meara on him.
Gotta look down low. Keita has a mismatch.
He's got Rob right on him, and O'Meara commits the foul on the perimeter. Late shot clock, and Scott Drew says, use your head.
That's not a great foul, especially from a veteran player like O'Meara. Like I said, Baylor has a very short bench. To pick up a foul about 30 feet away from the basket, especially when you're limited in your front court, not a smart play.
Saw Scott Drew, year 22, 13-6 overall, 5 of the 6 losses to teams who at some point have been in the top 10. And here we've got the foul called on Trevin Nell that dropped Josh Ojanwada to the floor.
And I think this will be ruled intentional. I don't think Trevin Nell had any bad intentions with this, but due to the contact above the neck, I think that this will be ruled intentional.
Previous plays under review. Flagrant 1 foul called, potential upgrade.
So flagrant 1 from now, excessive in nature and or unnecessary. 2 free throws plus possession. And then is it a possible upgrade? You heard Kip Kissinger say it, which means not only excessive but also severe or extreme. So that's the benchmark you're looking for with that foul from Trevin Nell.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worthy of a flagrant 2. But I would give it a flagrant 1 for sure.
After review, the play is confirmed. Flagrant 1 foul. 17 will be our shooter.
So you're good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yep.
Not deserving of a flagrant 2, but a flagrant 1 definitely.
Another look at it here on Demon's pass and the clothesline. Yeah, nothing more there. So Josh Ojanwada to the line, the junior from Nigeria, first-year starter, 63%. This is the first. So he splits at the stripe. Oh, big game for both these teams. Joe Lunardi right now has Baylor as a 9 seed. He's got BYU in his considered category. So looking to pick up a good home win against this Bears team. against the zone. Edgecombe probing, found O'Meara, rolled off with the follow for Ojanwuna.
And Ojanwuna has to have a big game tonight. I think they need more production from him down low.
He had only scored 6 points total the last 3 games, but 3 straight, part of this 6-0 run for Baylor. Mawit Mag, no dice out of the corner, and a foul on the rebounding action.
And this is when Ojanwuna is at his best. When he's able to attack the offensive glass like this, he is more than capable. We saw it in the Arizona State game, how good he really was. But too many times he has a really good game, and then he'll be a no-show for another game. He needs to be able to create consistent production for Baylor, especially when they're limited in their front court.
Well, Norchad O'Meara goes to the bench here. And Saunders on the baseline drive. Couldn't get it to go. Got it back. And we'll back things out for BYU. Nell too strong. Another offensive rebound. Mag. Saunders hoists. Can't hit. But again. And Demon the putback.
And you have to block out when you're playing 3 guards like Baylor does, all under 6'4". BYU has height on the basketball floor. That's why they run this zone, and that's why the zone is hard to beat, because they are 6'6" and above at all 5 positions. You have to have an emphasis on blocking out if you're Baylor.
We mentioned the 3 guards for Baylor, and it's undersized guards as well from what maybe you're used to in Baylor programs. Shot clock at 6. Rob Wright, the stud freshman, can't connect. Got his own miss. Fresh 20 for the Bears, and poked away by Saunders. It'll stay at this end. Well, Kevin Young, first year, of course, took over for Mark Pope, who left for Kentucky after his 5 years. Young had been one of the top assistants in the NBA, and he's been a great fit here in Provo.
Yeah, he's done an amazing job. He's done a really, really good job of getting the fans to buy in. You know, getting a guy like A.J. DeVance to come to BYU, having that NBA title. He's done a phenomenal job so far.
Speaking of the NBA, there is heat all over the place here. 32 NBA staffers from 15 different teams. Saunders got fouled after the Baylor turnover. We got Danny Ainge, who is seemingly always here at BYU games, the program legend. 32, not including Danny Ainge, in the building from 15 different teams.
We've seen them all.
It was a who's who. You were shaking hands with like everyone. Kissing babies pregame.
I don't know about all that. Yeah, I saw Dwayne Casey got a little starstruck.
Yeah. Former NBA Coach of the Year, now in the Pistons front office. Mike Dunleavy's here, Warriors GM. Sean Marks, Nets GM expected. Saunders knocks down both. He's had a great junior season, averaging 20 a game over his last 5. Puts BYU nudging ahead. First 3.5 minutes gone by here at the Marriott Center. Edgecombe gets it back. 30 and 21 in the 2 games last week, and it's an illegal screen set by Norchad O'Meara, and that's his 2nd foul here in the first 4 minutes for, like you said, already a thin Baylor team.
And that's why that first one was not a smart foul, because now you set a screen and you have a moving screen, and that's your 2nd. So now Coach Drew is going to have to trust his player, trust his veteran player to not pick up his 3rd, because if he picks up his 3rd, he's out for the rest of the first half.
Scott Drew, one of the most lenient with 2 fouls in the first half. Mag couldn't finish on the flush. Got free on the baseline and couldn't jam it home.
And those are the plays, if you're Mag, you have to finish this. Good pass right here by Dimon. Jaden Nunn got away with the foul right there. Definitely grabbed Dimon when he turned the corner. But if you're Mag, you have to finish these plays, especially in the Big 12 games when so many of these contests come down to 1 to 2 possessions.
We just got the word from Marcus Pettigrew, an inadvertent whistle there. And so the ball will get inbounded on the baseline. And now Kip Kissinger and Tony Padilla try to get on the same page with the scorers table. Looks like they have. And now Scott Drew's looking for an explanation as well. I mean, from his vantage point, the dunk popped out.
Yeah.
But it is BYU possession. Nearly given away by Saunders. Whoa!
And that's one of those plays, the defensive breakdowns that drive coaches crazy.
No answer from Edgecombe, but a big offensive rebound from Celestine, but he missed the reverse. Well, here's the pace from Baylor. Kevin Young told us this morning it's been a lot better in terms of their pace in the last month. Demon tried to push. Mag drew the foul from Asamoah. 6-zip is the run for BYU, up by 3 in the first 5 minutes. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Progressive. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance.
The way that he is scoring the basketball is really getting the attention of scouts. And on the other side, Yegor Dimon. I mean, he's coming off of his best offensive performance in conference. The way that he can pass the basketball. But what I'm looking at is, can he score it? The way he shot it last game against Cincinnati really, really impressed me. And if he can continue to do that, I think he will climb up draft boards.
Finally broke out of that long shooting slump.
Yeah.
3 for 34 from 3, and then went 3 for 5 in the game you saw Saturday. Nifty footwork, and he's got 2.
And you saw it right there, one-on-one. Anytime Norchad Omier is on any one of their guards, they are going to try to attack him with him having 2 fouls, and he has to either let them score or just wall up because he cannot pick up his third.
Asamoah's in there as well. He's 6'8". Celestine in as well off the bench for a Baylor team already with 5 team fouls in the first 5 minutes. Here is Celestine, 4th game back from the ankle injury. Kicked it to Omier and a turnover.
That's not a great possession right there by Baylor. I like Scott Drew getting Rob Wright back into the ball game because I feel like Rob Wright is one of the guys who can actually create offense without a play being called for him. He can get into the lane and really dish. You have to be able to attack closeouts, drive the lane, penetrate, kick in order to make this BYU defense work and break down.
Yeah, more on the plate of Wright without, like we said, Jeremy Roach out for a 3rd straight game with a concussion. 2nd time he's dealt with a head injury this season. Picked one up against UConn earlier in the year. Demon turns it over. Omier pushes. Edgecombe attacks. Can't finish. Now Demon behind the back. Nell in open lane to the cup.
That's a dime right there by Yegor Dimon. The awareness to know where the open lane is. Give it to Trevor Nell for the easy 2. The breakdown of transition defense right there by Baylor.
And again, goes back to the pace that Kevin Young was preaching at the end of shoot-around with his team this morning. 10-0 BYU run. Celestine, a shooter. Omier gives it up. Edgecombe rises and hits at the end of the shot clock.
He's been shooting it so well. He's just looking more and more confident and more comfortable. He's understanding how to score on a collegiate level.
Demon kicked it. Cannon Catchings says, hey, there's another freshman in this game with first-round upside.
Hey, you want to talk about a guy who's getting more comfortable and more confident. Cannon Catchings is him. When he can step out and shoot the 3 and defend the way he's been defending in the past few games, NBA scouts love him and think he's definitely a first-round draft pick.
Top 40 on Gavoni's board as well. Edgecombe, the drop-off for Norchad Omier.
EJ Edgecombe able to knife through the defense. The penetration, put pressure, make the right decision with the drop-off. He's going to have to do a lot tonight for Baylor.
You talked with him earlier today at Shoot Around, the word that kept coming up, aggressive offensively.
And he also just says, the thing I'm most impressed with him, he just wants to win. So no matter what that is, whether that's having to score 25 or score 30, whether that's having to guard the best offensive player for BYU or the opposing team, he just wants to win.
Catchings pays it off. He earned the extra possession from Omier and buries another 3.
When Cannon Catchings keeps it simple, He's that 3-and-D type of player. He helps his team and impacts winning.
We told you about Edgecombe and Demon. Don't forget about Cannon Catchings.
We talked about him. Cannon Catchings is catching fire from deep. This is when he is so impressive. The catch and shoot at 6'9", the high release, hard for you to contest. When he's knocking down shots like this, Kevin Young is a happy man.
Pretty good stuff for the 6'9" freshman from Indiana, top 40 recruit, and Paul Biancardi's ESPN 100 top 40 on Jonathan Gavoni's draft board as well. And of course, Cannon comes from very good genes. You know his aunt, Tamika Catchings, former WNBA MVP, among many other things in this great sport, and a Hall of Famer.
An absolute legend. Got a chance to meet her at the ESPN seminar, and you know, her playing at Duncanville High School down the street from me in Dallas. It was an honor, man.
Yeah.
It was an honor to be able to get a chance to get to know her and talk to her. She does a terrific job on ESPN. You can check her out. She's amazing. Oh.
Celestine answers from long range, and that is much needed for Baylor.
Yeah, that's exactly what they needed, and that is his job. He comes in the game. He has instant offense. He can get hot from deep. They need his shooting today.
39% from three this year, 40% for his career for the Cal transfer. Here's Dawson Baker, had 11 off the bench on Saturday, and a step back as he stays warm.
And if you're Scott Drew, you are living with that shot. One-on-one, Ojan Wuna did a good job staying in front of the basketball, not allowing Baker to have any driving angles, a contested mid-range jump shot. You are living with that if you're Scott Drew.
The lead is 7 for the Cougars. Saunders on Edgecombe. Saunders was telling us today he is craving being an elite defender. He wants the big assignments. He's got it on Edgecombe. Nunn matched up with Dallin Hall, spinning on him. Hall stayed put, and it's a shot clock violation.
And Mike, shot clock violations are not the worst thing in the world. The worst thing is live ball turnovers that lead to transition buckets for the opposing team. Dead ball turnovers, shot clock violations, you can live with those because now you get a chance to set up your defense.
It's a 4th turnover for Baylor. First 9 minutes.
And this right here is interesting. You're zoning one of the best three-point shooting teams in Big 12, in the Big 12.
Baker on the baseline, tried to drop it off for Fus Traore. Catchings. Oh, he's high!
And Mike, that's what makes it tough. Because Rob Wright was there, but Rob Wright is only 6'1". Cannon Catchings is about 6'9" with a super high release. Rob Wright was there on the catch. Cannon Catchings is not worried about the contest because he sees over it.
You mentioned the size disparity, especially in the backcourt early. Edgecombe back out for Nunn. Step back triple. And the rebound to Catchings.
Nunn has not shot the three well recently. Only 2 for 10 from 3 in the last 2 games. He has to get going.
Saunders, no. Rebound Celestine, and Baylor pushes. Edgecombe without numbers. Backed out, Celestine. Doesn't get the roll, tipped around, and it'll stay with Baylor on the hustle play from Ojanwuna.
Let's take a look at this right here. On this catch, Rob Wright is there. But Cannon catches because of the height disparity, doesn't see the contest, sees one thing, and that's the rim, and a 3 for 3 start. Oh, with all the NBA scouts in here, Mike?
Not bad.
Somebody is looking to get paid.
You mentioned catch and shoot. He's 41% on catch and shoot threes, 21% on dribble threes. So he's made his money on the catch and shoot tonight. Celestine with another triple, his second, 2 of the 4 for Baylor.
And you talk about catch and shoot threes. Celestine might be one of the best in the Big 12 when it comes to purely just catching, shooting, releasing.
He was excellent Wednesday of last week against Kansas State, 18 on 4 threes off the bench. Ball kicks. Big Baker drives, gets the teardrop.
Dawson Baker is so good driving closeouts, and when he beats you, when he gets that angle, he will get in front of you so that you cannot get a contest on his floater. His float game is elite.
Kevin Young said the other day, he wakes up thinking that no one can guard him. Kevin Young said, I hope my kids have his swagger someday. Oh, nice English from Rob Wright.
The up and under, and that's just such a pretty finish. That's something that he can do and that he needs to do in order for Baylor to get a win.
At 14 on Saturday in the win at Utah was number 24 in our ESPN 100. Inside of 9 to go in this first half. The broad-chested Traore backed it out. Hall gave it back to him for 2. And BYU is just humming right now. They've hit 10 of their last 13 shots, shooting 58% this half.
And a part of that is Baylor has to close out better on the defensive side. The closeouts when you're playing against BYU are extremely important.
Such a good three-point shooting team, but the work's not done there.
Yeah, I mean, they're number 1 in the Big 12, top 10 in the country when it comes to two-point field goal percentage. You think you do your job when you run them off the three-point line, but it creates so many easy floaters, easy layups at the rim. Let's take a look at this right here. You have to close out better. Take a look at this right here. Rob Wright jumps to the basketball, doesn't chop his feet, which allows Dallin Hall to blow right by him, which creates rotations, and now Omier steps up and he's able to dump it off to Traore. You have to focus on your closeouts when you're playing against BYU.
Key to a good one is chopping the feet.
Yeah, chopping the feet, taking the right angle.
Wright draws a foul on Dallin Hall.
When I was at Baylor, that's one thing we did every single day, is closeouts for the first 10 minutes. Chopping your feet, taking the right angles, working on, if guys are shooters, how to run them off the line. If guys are short closeouts, mean they're non-shooters, how to stay back and get the right amount of space. Closeouts are extremely important.
Scott Drew was telling us today he does feel like the defense has got better as this season's gone along, but up against a very efficient BYU offense. Heat check for Celestine, and it'll stay at this end of the floor when we come back. BYU is humming offensively, and the lead is 9 against Baylor here at the Marriott Center.
Fit guy.
Pretty similar to him.
Yeah, pretty similar. Pretty similar stature,
okay.
Pretty similar size.
Oh, thank you.
So how many rounds are you lasting with Conor McGregor?
7.4 seconds. Not rounds, seconds. You give me that?
I thought you were about to say rounds. Honestly, I mean, I think you do a little bit more. You could run away for a little bit.
I appreciate it.
And then you might have to catch you.
I want to apologize to absolutely nobody for my 7 seconds. Rob Wright, no dice from deep. King McClure, Mike Monaco with you from the Marriott Center in Provo. Baylor at 5-3 in the Big 12. BYU at 4-4. Joe Lunardi says they're on the outside looking in. Calendar's getting ready to flip to February and a chance for a home win. Baylor looking for a great road win here in Provo. Hall got the switch with Omier. Keita's got none on him. Hall instead finds Baker underneath. He got fouled.
And that right there is an NBA type of call right there by Kevin Young. Get the switch that you want, which is Norchad Omier. Go attack. Get it, hit it to Dimon, get it right back, Dallin Hall, get downhill, attack Omier because he has 2 fouls. And now you get to the free throw line because of miscommunications.
It's really interesting listening to Kevin Young and asking him about those NBA influences. He said he could talk for hours about just what he's learned about substitution patterns, because it's very different. He said to us earlier today, it's hard to play a lot of guys in college. And when you bring in a guy off the bench, you can't really get him 2 bursts in a half.
Yeah.
He feels like you can only get him 1 good long run. And so he's learning all of this as he goes, and he's got his analytics guy he brought from the Suns with him to kind of help with all this.
You know, he's one of my favorite coaches to talk to in the Big 12 because every single time I talk to him, it's almost as if I'm learning something new.
Yeah.
I'm learning something new about the game of basketball, and he's teaching me something and giving me a different way to think about the game.
It's a turnover. Ojawina couldn't haul it in, and now Baker pushes and walked with it. takes it. Hall as well. Saunders and Catchings return for BYU. BYU got off to a 10-2 start. That included a win in their conference opener, then a 3-game losing streak. But they have since won 3 of their last 4. They show zone again against Baylor.
And this BYU zone is very reminiscent to, which is not the same level, but very reminiscent to the Syracuse zones. And that's a great pass right there by VJ Edgecombe. But when I say it's very reminiscent, it's because Syracuse, when Jim Boeheim used to run those zones, they had so much length on the wings and in front of the 2-3. Both of your top defenders were 6'7" and above, and that's what you see right now with Mag and Dimon.
Well, these are the 2 teams in the Big 12 who use zone the most. Saunders kind of caught in between there on the runner. Baylor trying to slice into the deficit. Edgecombe, who had that nice connection with O'Meara above the rim. Now right. Nunhuis can't knock it down and cleared by Keita.
That's one thing Scott Drew emphasized when I was talking to him is, man, we just have to make shots. And I know that's part of the game of basketball, and that sounds super simple, but if you can make shots on the road, you have a good chance of winning games. And Scott Drew kept reiterating that when I was talking to him.
Saunders had it roll off. Catchings tried to follow, and the loose ball run down by Jaden Nunn. He attacks and kicks, and first to foul will go against BYU. They get it on Yegor Demon.
Let's take a look at this pass right here, because VJ Edgecombe continues to impress me. Shot making, but also his playmaking. He's a way better passer than people give him credit for. Look at that. That was elite ball placement. 2 defenders right there, throws it right over Keita. Throws it to where only O'Meara can get the basketball. Elite ball placement, and that pass right there shows me that VJ Edgecombe is a way better playmaker than people give him credit for.
How's his decision-making been in your eyes in his freshman season?
It's grown.
Yeah.
And I think it continues to elevate because now he's being asked to do more. And I think right there was just a perfect example earlier on the drive when he drove and was able to dump off to O'Meara. I mean, his vision is there.
Saunders finishes. By the way, Demon is on the bench for BYU. He was the one who got tagged with that foul, and that's his second. Meantime, the second bucket for Saunders. A little bit slow out of the gates in this one. 5 to go in the first half. Edgecombe. Late shot clock. Off the crossover. Pivots. Left it short. And then a foul on the rebounding action goes against Baylor.
Well, let's take a look at this last bucket by Richie Rich Saunders. We keep talking about closeouts. Take a look at Celestine's closeout right here. Bad closeout, good blow by. Richie Saunders is so good at driving closeouts. If you take the wrong angle, if you don't chop your feet, he is getting right by you for layups time and time again.
So what's the balance? Because you know how good a three-point shooting team, a guy like Saunders and a team like BYU is. So which one are you going to cheat more to?
Well, you have to stay attached. I mean, obviously, in a game like this, you would want to say you want to give up 2s more so than 3s on a team that can get hot, especially when they're, at home. But it's a fine line. You have to be able to touch the guy, not allow him to get a shot up, but also take the right angle in which if you stay attached, stay on the hip, you should have backside help rotating over to contest at the rim. And that's where I think Ojan Luna can help this Baylor defense get to the next level if his backside vertical contest get better. They need better rim protection.
Well, they're down by 13, biggest deficit, but O'Meara sticks a 3.
And that's something that he's been doing really, really well. 50% from 3 in the last 6 games. He continues to work on it, and it's paying off.
Basically didn't shoot any 3s his first 3 years. 2 at Arkansas State in his first year at Miami. Hall kicked for Catchings. He's got a game-high 11 here in the first half. Hall got the switch with O'Meara. Hall down the lane on the reverse.
And that's the matchup that BYU and Kevin Young is going to continue to go at, because O'Meara cannot foul. And they know that Baylor Baylor switches everything. So if you're Scott Drew, you might want to switch it up right now. You might want to switch up your ball screen defense to alleviate O'Meara from being put in those positions.
Nice hesitation from Edgecombe. Let me ask you this. You played for him. How common is it for Scott Drew to change ball screen and not switch one thing?
Yeah, well, when I was playing, we had a bunch of different ball screen coverages, and I mean, you get the offensive foul, so you get bailed out right there. But we had a bunch of defensive coverages in the ball screen, and don't be surprised, but they're going to need something in order to climb back. BYU up by 10.
Arkansas and Kentucky. So Jay Will's got to love this, what we just saw here with a half-court shot.
I think it's the second one. When I was here on Saturday against Cincinnati, a woman hit the half-court shot, and today this young man hit it.
It's got to be you.
Maybe so.
Yeah, good vibes.
Maybe so. Positive energy.
Shot making galore. Inside of 3.5 to go in this first half. Baylor with it down by 10. Chad O'Meara again playing with those 2 fouls. And he found none to bury a 3. You mentioned the shot making for the Bears. They're hanging around within 7.
And only 2 for 10 in the last 3 games. So I know it feels good if you're Jaden Nunn to be able to knock one down, get it one in rhythm, and to put it in.
Normally 44% from 3. He had knocked down 44 triples coming in. Nell off the shot fake, again attacking O'Meara. And a 3-second call goes against BYU.
If you're Cater, when you get the switch, you go set the ball screen and get the switch. It is not time for him to post up to get the guard. They want the matchup right there, Nell on O'Meara. Cater has to clear and get out the way, go to the dunker spot so that Nell can have options when he drives.
Baylor's been down by as many as 13. Within 7, approaching 2.5 to go. Edgecombe can't knock it down, and the loose ball to the Bears. Celestine attacks and draws a foul.
And this is one area where Baylor has actually been really good. When you look at BYU, look at their numbers, they don't allow teams to get offensive rebounds. They do a really good job of blocking out and limiting you to one shot. Baylor already up to this point has 7 offensive rebounds, which has led to 8 second chance points. That's an area where if you're Scott Drew, even though you're down, you should be proud of that effort right there.
First foul on Richie Saunders. So Celestine at the line. Told he missed about 3 weeks to start January with that ankle injury. And then on Saturday, came down a little bit funny on the same ankle. So Scott Drew said there was a shoot-around today that he was a little wary of what they were going to get from Celestine. And, well, like we've documented, they're already shorthanded, so it's great that he's been full go and apparently unhindered.
Yeah, this Scott Drew, you can't afford to lose anybody.
No.
You need all hands on deck right now because they're legit 7 deep with Langston Love and Jeremy Roach out. 2 guys who they miss a ton. So you can't afford to have anybody else go down.
He did tell us Jeremy Roach is doing better and that he hopes to have him sooner rather than later. That's as much of a Jeremy Roach update as we have with his concussion. All right, 6-point game, approaching 2 to go until halftime. Saunders ran off a screen and now attacks. Got all the way to the cup.
And that right there is what you're supposed to do if you're Cater. When he rolled, he wasn't looking for the post-up. He sealed the big man of Baylor to take away the rim protection, which allowed Richie Saunders to get downhill uncontested.
Wright turned it over. Ball leaks out, and Wright took it away. What a defensive play by Rob Wright. Immediately atoned for his giveaway.
That's a high-level play. One-on-one, stopping the basketball, getting the steal in transition. That's just a great defensive play by the freshman.
O'Meara has a mismatch with Nell. Instead, Ojawina over the left shoulder. Count it, plus a foul away from the basketball. That's going on Nell. Or is it O'Meara? He's pleading his case. It looked like the initial signal was on Trevin Nell underneath.
Let's take a look at this play by Rob Wright because this is just so impressive. One-on-one, being able to stay in front of the basketball and get that steal, maybe a little hand, maybe a little contact right there. Nonetheless, the referee
previous plays under review.
Good play right there by Rob Wright, and they're taking a look at this. Let's take a look at this to see who the foul is on. Yeah, I mean, that's a foul on Omer right there. And Omer has to be smarter than that. The ball goes in. You can't have irresponsible fouls like that underneath the basket. You already have the strength and the size over Trevin Knell. No need to extend, put the guy on the ground. Not a smart play right here by Omer. That's 2 careless fouls that we've seen on Omer.
So that would be his third. His first was out near midcourt, 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Didn't need to have it. So to your point, the first and the third, pretty much unnecessary for him.
Very unnecessary fouls. And a guy who is so talented, a guy who brings so much to the table, who has been so impressive for Baylor, he has to be better than that. Scott Drew is counting on this young man to stay on the floor.
Dealt with foul trouble at Miami as well, to the point that Jim Larinaga and his staff would watch every single foul with Norchad Omer to try to show him and have him learn the ones that he can't afford to pick up. So you're also checking the foul in relation to the bucket, I would presume. At first, there was some conversation of if it was on Knell, which doesn't matter in the context of when the ball goes through the hoop for Ojanwuna. So let's try to watch both happen at the same time. When does the ball go in and when is the offensive foul committed and signaled?
I mean, you could argue that the offensive foul happened before the bucket and before the release of Ojanwuna's hook shot.
Skip Kissinger was the one to make the call, and it did look like before the ball entirely dropped through that he had signaled for a foul.
Good.
Let's see.
Okay, after review, the foul is confirmed on the floor on 15 green. The bucket is good. 21 will shoot for BYU, 1-1 at the other end.
So it doesn't help the situation for Baylor that Norchad Omer's got 3, but at least you get the points at the rim.
Because now you have 3 fouls going into the second half with 1:23 to go. Having 2 fouls to start the second half versus 3 fouls is 2 completely different scenarios. So do not be surprised if Norchad Omer has to come off the bench to start the second half, because you don't want him to pick up that 4th within the first 4 minutes of the game, because now you can't play him until under about 8 minutes in the second half.
So it puts Trevin Knell at the line, 73%. Good on the front end. Baylor navigating the injury woes that it's dealt with recently. Now foul trouble for one of its 2 best players.
And on top of the Omer 3rd foul, now you give a chance to get a few extra points right here by BYU to close out the half when you're cutting down the lead.
It was only a split at the line from Knell, and then the immediate foul from BYU on Saunders, his 2nd. So Cannon Catchings will come back in and replace Richie Saunders. And VJ Edgecombe to the line. Scott Drew said to us today with the injuries, Edgecombe has really stepped up. The word he used was assertive. And you asked, was it a conversation, VJ, that he had with Scott Drew? And he said, no, he kind of just sensed that he needed to be.
He's just a winner. He cares about winning, and that, based on the conversation we had, that's the sense I got from him. And that's what he said. That's what he told to us. He said, I don't care. If I have to go score 30, I'll do that. If I have to go shut down the best player, I will do that. At the end of the day, I just want to win games. He said he hates losing, and you can tell by the way he's been playing as of lately, he fully means that statement.
Approaching the final minute of the first half. Catchings yanks it back, knocks it down. But on the line, it's a 2 for Catchings. They'll look at it at the next opportunity.
Oh, that's impressive, though. The handle to create the separation. I mean, Cannon catches. If he continues to shoot the ball the way he's shooting it today, the way he shot it last game against Cincinnati, his stock will continue to rise.
Edgecombe had it roll off, nagged the loose ball, and a foul on the rebounding action. Josh Ojawina picks up his second.
Let's take a look at this. Cannon catchings 3, maybe 2.
I thought 2.
Step back. That's close.
Tough to tell from that angle.
Yeah, that's tough to tell from that angle. Nonetheless, that's just a tough, high-level bucket. When Cannon catching keeps it simple, I think that might have been a technical foul on the Baylor bench.
It is. And it's for them pointing at the video board, saying, take a look at the foul that they didn't like that went against Ojawina. But for doing that, they get tagged with a tech.
And this has been something. Scott Drew has been on the referee the whole game. So I think it's more so the referee just being tired of hearing from the Baylor bench, more so than their actions being actually that level of aggressive.
Now, interesting. It looks like Ojawina was just doing it to his coach, saying, look up here. And I didn't take that to be toward the officials.
But that's why I think it's more so the referee just being tired of hearing from the Baylor's bench, because Scott Drew has been riding that referee the whole game to the point to where about 5-6 minutes ago he said enough is enough.
Scott Drew continues in conversation with Tony Padilla. First half, it feels like it's had a little bit of everything here. Had some reviews, some near reviews, texts, who the foul's on, Conor McGregor.
Got a flagrant.
If you're just joining us, we've got all kinds of NBA personnel in the building, 32 scouts/execs from 15 different teams to get a look at some of the future, likely, certain, probable first rounders, any way you slice it, with the freshmen on display.
And this is something that Kevin Young does. He inserts Trey Stewart at the end of halves for defensive purposes, puts more athleticism on the floor to get a stop at the end of the half.
He replaces Nell, 1 in white. The senior enters and is trying to dog Rob Wright. 2.5 seconds separate the game and the shot clock. Baylor trying to cut into the 10-point spread.
And this ball has to go to B.J. Edgecombe. B.J. Edgecombe getting downhill.
He's got a team-high 10 points in this first half. Stewart's on him. Wright goes against Mag, spinning.
Oh, that's so tough.
Finishing.
Oh, that's tough, Mike.
Hall cannot connect. Well, much needed from Rob Wright to finish the first half, but it's BYU with the lead at 8.
And that's what Rob Wright gives you on the offensive side. Late.
He had 9 points off the bench against Cincinnati. And Kevin Young said the day before was one of catching's best practices. We asked today what defines a good practice. They said it's focus, it's attention to detail, and then for catchings to be aggressive within what they're doing. And he's got 13, his most in any conference game this season, and he did it in a half.
He has to keep it simple. The simpler he keeps it, the better he is.
Well, Baylor starts with it down by 8. Norchad Omier, 15 in the green and gold, is out there with his 3 fouls. Omier straight on 2 strong and tipped around by Ojawina. Right to Omier for 2.
That's just a great offensive rebound. Way to keep the play alive right there by Ojawina.
You mentioned the energy that you want to see him playing with. He picked up a couple of fouls, but he brought that energy in the first half.
And Coach Drew trusting Norchad Omier right now. 3 fouls, beginning of the second half. He has to be able to play without fouling.
Mag was driving on him. Now Nell off the bounce, falling away, got the roll.
And for a guy like Nell, if he's shooting mid-range jump shot, that's what you want. You don't want him to get a blow-by layups towards the rim, and you don't want him to get off threes. Anything in the middle is good defense for Baylor.
These are a pair of top 20 offenses in the country, according to KenPom. And they've looked like it, especially BYU, throughout the night. Rob Wright off the bounce on Saunders. Omier the follow. Just carved out some space against Keita.
Yeah, extremely physical, extremely strong down low.
Omier straight up. Saunders attacked him. And Saunders took it away.
That's just a careless pass right there by Omier. Was trying to tap the basketball and get it inbounded. Very careless.
Demon. Oh, did he?
Oh.
That's cold.
This right here is Kevin Young showing us his NBA prowess. One thing he does better than almost any coach in the country is he picks on mismatches. Watch right here. Mag sets the screen. Demon had Ojanwuna on him, but they didn't want that matchup. They wanted the matchup with Omier because they know that if he fouls again, he's out. Demon, one-on-one. Hits him with the shimmy. Step back, creates the space. When Demon is knocking down shots, when Kevin Young is picking on mismatches, BYU is hard to guard one-on-one.
How about Yegor Demon right there? 6'9", point guard from Russia. We told he's 9th on Jonathan Gavoni's NBA draft board for us here at ESPN. And he is trending up. Good seal, but a big block from Keita on Ojanwuna.
Do it again.
Yeah, he got the switch again from Omier. Hoist. Can't hit. Rebound Edgecombe. Omier, the breakout. Good hands from Nell. Quickly back the other way. Saunders draws a foul on Rob Wright. Wright's second on the baseline.
It's a good steal right here. We saw this earlier by Rob Wright. Same play by Trevor Nell. Just good one-on-one defense. Getting the steal in transition, taking away the easy layup.
From the 26-year-old Trevor Nell. Richie Saunders was telling us today at shoot-around, he feels like Nell's one of the more underappreciated players that they've got. Really good leader. Saunders called him the best shooter in the country. There's a lot of little things for BYU. Omier on Demon again, and then Nunn stepped in, and Nunn will get hit with the foul.
They are putting Omier in a ball screen action every single time down the floor. They are going to make him work and try to draw that fourth foul on him.
So late first half, we asked the question, any change to Baylor's ball screens? And still no, right? I mean, they're switching everything 1 through 5.
Well, one thing that makes it hard is because you have so many new guys and you have so many roster turnovers that it's hard to be able to have multiple ball screen coverages, which is one reason why I think Scott Drew is continuing to switch on everything.
Saunders backs it out. Shot clock below 10. Demon gets the switch again from Omier. Demon tried to get him in the air and walked with it first.
And that right there, just a great job. But it started with Ojanwuna guarding Richie Saunders, being able to stay in front of the basketball. Ojanwuna has so much potential that he needs to live up to. As a big 6'11", he does a really good job staying in front of guards, not allowing angles or blow-bys. So it started with Ojanwuna, and then Omier, one-on-one on Demon, stays in front, doesn't get the foul.
Edgecombe orchestrating. Off the shot fake. Now Nunn. Against the zone. Nunn had the hoist and buries it.
It's a big-time shot, but a big-time play by Rob Wright. Drawing to kicking.
Great facilitator as a freshman. Rob Wright. Look at that quick release from Nell, but he missed it and then rescued on the baseline for Baylor. Right at the controls. Backs it out. Edgecombe right down the lane.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man. Took off with bad intentions. Had the body control and got the roll.
Oh, my.
Yeah, the NBA personnel is going to like
32 scouts. 32 scouts in the building. And they all love that. gracious. That is a straight, you talk about put him in a body, catching a body right there. That's a 10 out of 10 right there.
We asked VJ today, hey, be honest, best dunk of your life? And he agreed. Of course it's the best dunk of his life. But he said he's hoping to one-up it. We got a 5-point game after Edgecombe got a look at the free throw line to stamp that 3-point play. First 5 minutes of the second half here in Provo. King McClure, Mike Monaco with you, our entire crew behind the scenes. Saunders, no, around the screen, and then a foul on the rebounding action will go against Jaden Nunn. I should say Kebakeda.
Right now, Baylor's doing a really good job of not allowing BYU to get to the paint, keeping them out the paint, and taking away all the driving angles.
Third on Kada, so he exits. No goes out. He's limping a bit, reaching at his right leg. And Saunders departs as well. So here comes Baylor. Trailed by as many as 13 in the first half. Still shorthanded. Chad O'Meara was in foul trouble, and yet they can make this a one-possession game right here. Against the zone. Edgecombe. Drop off Ojanwuna.
That's a great drop right there. The ball reversal, swing right back into the pick and roll to allow VJ Edgecombe to get downhill to create a 2-on-1 on the backside. This is a great drop right there by Scott Drew.
8-0 run in the last minute for the Bears. Yegor Demon at the controls. Catchings. Ooh, got the mid-range as well with that high release.
Keeping it simple. 1-2 dribbles, bump off with your shoulder, rise up over the top. When Cannon Catchings keeps it simple, he's so impressive, and he's slowly starting to figure it out, Mike.
15 points, 5 for 5 from the floor, has knocked down all 3 triples. Celestine is never gun shy. Offensive rebound, Nunn. Backed it out for Wright. The skip. Edgecombe rises. Buries.
Hey, we are seeing production from high-level guys. There's a reason why these guys are on draft boards, and both of them have been extremely impressive tonight.
Demon. Rolled off. Traore, the offensive rebound. Baker. Left it short. And then a foul on the floor on the rebounding action.
We got some back and forth action. This right here is just a great dump off. Ojanwuna getting to the dunker spot. Cannon Catchings creating the space, bumping him off with his shoulder, rising up over the top, and contested or not, VJ Edgecombe is letting it fly and knocking it down.
Again, we've got Connor McGregor here, Mike Dunleavy, Sean Marks was expected.
They're putting on a show.
Dwayne Casey, Danny Ainge, all in the building watching. Good catch from Bruce Traore.
Yeah, if you're BYU, you got to go to Foose right here.
Got the seal. Help comes. And a foul on the reaching.
Yeah, you have to take advantage of Foose Traore down low. With Asamoah guarding him. Bruce Traore, I don't care who is guarding him. One-on-one, he's one of the most difficult matchups to guard in the post because he has such great touch around the rim, and he's so physical and strong that he can create angles. I would go at it. I would go to him right now, especially with O'Meara or Asamoah guarding him.
They go right to him on the baseline out of bounds. 6'6", 250 pounds, banging with O'Meara. Got the roll.
He's so tough to guard. If you're the backside help, you have to come earlier. You cannot allow Foose to play one-on-one, especially with O'Meara in foul trouble. You have to send a double and make him kick.
9.6 rebounds a game off the bench for the senior from Mali. Celestine driving on Catchings. Asamoah. The freshman lost it. O'Meara trying to wrangle it back, but instead it's Baker who emerged. Mag. To go, but they'll wave it off. place was ready to erupt with the theatrics.
And they might have a point, Mike. Let's take a look at this right here.
They're saying it's on the floor on Edgecombe.
He picked the ball up. I mean, that's a close one. That is a really close one. I see why the referee would say it's on the floor, but I also see the argument for it could have been an and one.
2 on Edgecombe. Into Foose again. The help came. BYU moves it. Catchings is hot. And another! This man is on fire! January 28th, Cannon Catchings has arrived. Edgecombe answers back with a smooth 2.
Mike, that's so tough. The change of direction into the offhand floater. You have to be so skilled to finish a play like that.
You can see him barking toward his bench as well. Knows how crucial a spot in the game it is right now for his team. Trying to will them. You mentioned earlier his focus on just winning. He stressed that with us when we sat with him today at the end of shoot-around. Not concerned about points, shots, or who is sitting here watching him tonight, he said, or who he goes up against in Denton. Traore had it roll off. Good job by O'Meara contesting with the 3. Shot fake. O'Meara attacks. Rolled off. Tip for Ochanwuna wouldn't go, and it's back to BYU on the other side. Well, Cannon Catchings, how about 18? Really close to wins against Kansas and Houston.
Man, Saturday is going to be incredible. You got Texas Tech and Houston. I'll be on the call for that one.
Let's
top 25 matchup. Man, I can't wait till Saturday.
Yeah, it is all happening in the world of college basketball. Glad to have you with us. Inside of 12 to go in the second half. BYU up by 5 on Baylor. They've led by as many as 13 back in the first half. Traore pivoting on O'Meara. Couldn't get it to go.
That's great defense right there. Wall up. Do not bring your hands down.
Rob Wright around the screen. With Saunders on him. Now VJ Edgecombe. Switch with Baker. 10 to shoot. Wright off the hesitation. Can't hit. O'Meara the offensive rebound. Backs it out. Celestine drives. And it belongs to BYU. Saunders, Baker, Catchings, and Traore, the 5 on the floor for Kevin Young and the Cougars. Paul off the bounce. Now Baker. Trying to shake Celestine. Baker, tough shot. Wouldn't go, and the loose ball to Wright. O'Meara, the leak out. Good catch, but was underneath too deep.
Let's take a look at this. Good pass. Might have let him a little too far. And it like it did go off O'Meara. That looked like that was the right call.
And another quintessential Richie Saunders play.
Richie Saunders just plays with a chip on his shoulder. Such a tough guy. I love watching Richie Saunders play and how hard he competes.
Around the screen. Right on cue. He's trying to make us sound smart.
Richie Rich.
He's had a great junior season. Wright took some contact from Catchings. Good drop off. Ochanwuna the hammer.
Rob Wright is so good at getting into the paint. And when he gets into the paint, 2 people get attached to him. He finds the open man and creates plays out of nothing.
A couple of times now, Baylor has got it to a 1-possession game. With 10 to go in the second half, Rob Wright and the Bears on the move in Provo.
I'm Texas, so we say aunt. We say auntie, honestly.
That works for me.
Funny, I actually call my aunt, I call her Nanny, because when I was young, I couldn't say Amy. I used to say Nanny. So I call all my aunts a Nanny, like Nanny Chandra, Nanny Mo. Shout out to them if they're watching.
I didn't see that coming in the multiple choice answers provided. Traore underneath and got fouled. We will go to the line for a pair. Still about 10 minutes to go. You said to me during the break, for Baylor, how hard it is in this conference to try to go at it with a 7-man rotation.
It's honestly impressive. You know, you're 5-3 in the Big 12. To only play with 7 guys in a conference in which every single game is a battle. That's really, really impressive. And Scott Drew does a good job, as any coach in the country, of making the most of what is given to him.
Scott Drew has said he longs for the day where they have everyone together. Feels like he's really only had one game like that the first time against Utah right around the new year. And he loved how they looked in that one. 4-point margin. Some token pressure extended by BYU. Back into the zone. Edgecombe off the screen. Back out Omier. Moved it for right. Shot clock below 10. Edgecombe all alone. Knocks it down.
That's just great ball movement right there. Swing it side to side. Make the defense shift. They lose their rotations. Don't communicate. And BJ Edgecombe just knocks it down.
Last 3 games, 30, 21, and now 21 again with still 9 minutes to play. Baker. Offensive rebound. Traore and the putback.
And right there, one-on-one. If you're Jay Nunn, you don't expect Jay Nunn to win that war between him and Traore. However, Traore can't end up with the basketball. Whatever you have to do, you have to make sure that Traore doesn't get that ball. You don't have to get it. Just keep him from getting it.
Nunn working on Baker on a step through. Got it to go. Back down to a 1-point margin. Two elite offenses acting like it tonight. Catchings comes to the help of Traore. Catchings on Omier. A step back.
Oh,
Catchings again!
Oh, my goodness.
There isn't a heat check for him.
Oh, that's so tough. I mean, he's just showing what he can do. Not just a catch-and-shoot player, but able to get it off the bounce, too. That's great defense, but better offense.
Omier cannot answer. Saunders. Hall. Feeds Traore. Going to work against Omier. Still with those 3 fouls. He's managed it well here in the second half.
And that's what he should be. He should be able to do that. He's played in that many basketball games to where he should be able to know how to play without fouling. But on the offensive side, we keep talking about these 2 freshmen. BJ Edgecombe, you leave him wide open, he will make you pay. And on the opposite side, Cannon catches. Oh my goodness. Footwork, step back, bucket.
Yeah, they get it done without Harris, and they get that win in Lawrence to get to 6-3 in the Big 12. Meantime, BYU 4-4 in the Big 12, Baylor at 5-3, and this has turned into a very good and very tight game. The freshmen have started this one. Guys with those NBA aspirations and everyone here watching.
Now, I think that BJ Edgecombe and Baylor has done a tremendous job of not getting down. The game when BYU played Cincinnati, BYU got the lead a little bit, and then they just turned up and created that separation, that 20, 30-point separation. But Baylor has done a good job of withstanding the runs of BYU.
Edgecombe threw the lob to Omier and then tried to atone for it, and he picks up his 3rd foul in the process. Edgecombe, we told you, with 21 points, so he's gone 30 last week, 21 over the weekend, 21 again today. Those are the 3 highest scoring games of his young college career. He and Keontae George, the only Baylor freshmen in the last 20 seasons to go for 20-plus in 3 straight. And a front-end miss from Mawit Mag, who is a 73% free throw shooter.
And they're putting Mag on Edgecombe. They want the length and the athleticism to see if it can slow him down. I like this right here by Kevin Young.
Mag is 6'7". He was brought in from Rutgers in the portal to be a defensive stopper. Right on the drive past Demon. It rolled off. Omier the offensive rebound, and he got fouled.
And that's what Omier is so good at. He carves out space, and that's why he's an elite rebounder, one of the best, not only in the Big 12, but in the country, because his positioning. He's always in the right position when the ball comes off the rim. He reminds me of a guy I played with, Rico Gathers.
Yeah.
Really big, strong, physical human beings. Look like they should be on somebody's football team, but they're just so physical and so strong that they're able to carve out space.
Hey, Saturday over on ESPN, 2 Sonic Blockbusters. Coverage starts with College Game Day, 10 a.m. and then 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Round 1 of Carolina and Duke. Duke is hot, 14 straight. And then 9 o'clock, Arkansas and Kentucky as Coach Cal returns to Lexington.
And Duke looks good.
Do they ever?
Looks really good.
Survival last night took the punch from NC State. Omier split at the line, so the lead is 2 for BYU. Approaching 6.5 to go here in Provo. Demon attacking Omier again, and it's on Norchad Omier. That's 4 on Omier.
Yeah, that one's tough. We've taken a look at this because he did put his hands out, but how much contact did Omier actually create? Let's take a look.
Is that enough for you to be a foul?
I mean, in the Big 12, no. I mean, maybe yes, but in the Big 12, as physical as these games are, I don't think you blow that whistle right there.
2 bad fouls from Omier in the first half, but I thought in the second half, he's managed it really well until right there.
But if you take away those 2 bad fouls, now you can get away with that one right there.
You're right.
Now that's his second one. So he has to be smarter because you put yourself in that predicament. So now you pick up your 4th on a tic-tac foul because you can't control how the referees are going to call it, but you can control those 2 unnecessary fouls that you got earlier on in the game.
Real quick, when can he come back in?
I'll probably say under 4. Under 4 to play it safe.
So can Baylor manage the next 2.5 minutes without him? Edgecombe backed it out on Demon, moved it for none. Too strong.
And for defensive purposes, I really don't hate this because Ojon Wooner does a really good job switching on to guards. So you really have no advantage. You can't pick on anything if you're BYU right now.
Kip Kissinger, Bluth is dead, coming up the sideline. He's in conversation with Kevin Young. It appears the ball is going to get inbounded in the front court for BYU. Couldn't tell exactly why the stoppage right there with the Cougars looking to run.
I think these are huge minutes right now for Ojon Wooner.
Right on cue. The strip. Nunn joins. Finishes and a foul. Right as you said it, Josh Ojamwana steps up with the pick.
That's a really smart play, not only to jump the passing lane, but to give it to your guard. One-on-one, he was probably going to get a charge had he tried to take this. But he gets it to his guard, allows Jay Nunn to get downhill. I mean, just a heads-up play right there by Ojon Wooner.
And then Jay Nunn goes head first into the stanchion, right into your living room. Checking for blood. Is there any on perhaps the upper lip of Nunn?
Bleeding. We need 20. Just 20 for blood.
Everyone's all right. We like to see thumbs up in that case.
This is just a good finish. Off 2 feet.
It's on 6. It's on 13.
Attack the rim.
I just looked.
Jay Nunn in transition.
I got the wrong foul. 13. I just looked at it.
Tony Padilla just came over and explained who the foul's on. They've now changed it to Keita. He had given the wrong number before, and so that's 4 on Keita. Meantime, when you have a blood situation like this, it needs to be resolved within 20 seconds, and it looks like it is for none to be able to stay in the game without a sub.
And the BYU fans were mad at that last foul because they felt like there was very minimal contact, and it shouldn't have been an and one, which I think is fair. But however, I like the consistency of the referees. You call the tic-tac foul on Norchad Omier, then you call the tic-tac foul down here on the layup. As long as referees are consistent, that's all you can ask for.
And Nunn stamps a three-point play. Looks like the bleeding is still an issue. He's going off to the bench very unexpectedly. So here comes Norchad Omier. The Baylor coaches were looking at the bench. They're going to send Omier. He might have got up on his own accord, and now instead, Scott Drew says, hold your horses,
yeah,
big fella. Not yet.
I was about to say, that's not smart at all. That is not smart at all, because if I'm Kevin Young and Omier comes in the game right now, I am attacking him from the jump. Everything will be an ISO situation on Omier to draw that 5th foul.
Yeah, so it's not him. It's Jason Asamoah, a 6'8" freshman from Lynn, Massachusetts instead. Demon to the corner. Catchings with a burst. Catchings on the reverse.
Good pass right here by Demon. Catchings with the length, with the explosion, driving the closeout. I mean, this right here, when he keeps it simple, he's showing his offensive versatility. Kevin Catchings is having himself a night, Mike.
Nobody in the country has completed a game with at least 20 points and perfect from the floor, the way Catchings is right now. He's got a new season high as a freshman with 23, all for a guy who had averaged 5 points per game to start his Big 12 career. To shoot for Baylor, down 4. A screen for Wright. Edgecombe stepped into it. Wright rises. Buries it. Big time answer from the freshman, Rob Wright.
And he hasn't been shooting it great. As you can see right there, BYU didn't even try to contest. They are giving Rob Wright the 3-point shot because his numbers, as of lately, have not been good from behind the arc.
His first triple of the ball game. Demon gave it up for Nell.
Norchad Omier back in the game. I would give it to Cannon Catchings right now.
Demon, no. Battle on the boards and an offensive rebound. Nell, the lob, too tall. Tip back out for Catchings. And they're going to check the shot clock. Currently at 10 seconds. And it looked like Marcus Pettigrew stepped in thinking there should have been a reset. After a huge 3 from Rob Wright, where you said it, they were sagging.
Previous plays under review for a potential shot clock.
Didn't even try to contest, just giving him that 3-point shot because he has not shot it great. But Rob Wright is about as confident as a freshman as it comes. And let's take a look at this. That ball did not hit the rim. The only thing that hit the rim was Traore's hand. There should be no reset right here.
Yeah, not close.
Yeah, not even close right there.
So we think we should be good right where it is.
Yeah, it should stay there.
So while we got a moment, we remind you that women's college basketball is front and center on Thursday night.
After review, the ball
Eastern
never
time.
hit the rim.
On
11 on the shot.
2, top 15 matchup, number 13 Oklahoma, number 7 LSU. Then 8:30 on ESPN, Iowa State against number 11 Kansas State. That is Thursday on ESPN2 and ESPN.
LSU needs to bounce back after their first loss of the season last week against a very, very good South Carolina team. I'm interested to see how Kim Mulkey will have her girls locked in, focused, and ready for this matchup.
And we got a good one shaping up over the last 4.5. BYU by 1 with the basketball with 11 seconds to shoot. into Catchings. Emerges out of the corner. 5 to shoot. Yegor Demon off the bounce. Nell, the back cut, had it blocked. Ojanwuna steps up defensively again. Baylor has not led since it was just 6-5 the first 3 minutes of this game. VJ Edgecombe around the screen. To the basket, no. Rebound cleared by Nell. Demon in transition. Pushing and finishing. Nobody stopped Yegor Demon. And Scott Drew will use his final timeout. 3-point game with 3+ to go in Provo. How good has this been? ESPN's exclusive presentation. 44 to go. King McClure, Mike Monaco, our entire crew with you. BYU led by as many as 13 in the first half. They're up by 3 here. Baylor essentially playing with a 6-man rotation today. They've dealt with, on top of that, some foul trouble from one of their 2 best players in Norchad Omier. And BYU's got the lead. But Baylor with the basketball. Omier flashes, faces up, works on Saunders, had it roll off, got his own miss, and Omier gets fouled.
Right there. Good play. Intention to get the ball to the middle of the paint. Allow Omier to work one-on-one against the smaller Richie Saunders. He misses the first one, gets his rebound, something that he's so good at. But I like it. Get the ball to the middle of the paint. Allow your bigs to work.
Omier misses the first. 72% this year, 73% for his career. He's the NCAA's active leader in career rebounds and double-doubles. And he misses both, sending the Rock into a frenzy. Push Traore. Initiates with a dribble handoff for Saunders. Down the lane. A lot of contact. Got his own miss. Gets the roll.
This is so tough. Richie Saunders. He's talking about how tough he is. Talk about how he plays with the edge on. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. Gets his own rebound. And one.
Third foul, by the way, on Rob Wright. Trying to slow down Saunders, who Kevin Young said to us today, it's not just a motor. He said Richie Saunders plays kamikaze style out there.
And you can see as the year progresses, he is just getting more and more confident, which is why he's had the success that he has had as of lately.
3 minutes to go. Baylor down by 6.
Mag making Edgecombe work right now.
Can't even get a touch. Wright instead looking for Edgecombe, and a foul is called. Away from the ball on Dallin Hall.
Like, that was an impressive 20 seconds of defense right there by Mag. The switch, the denial of VJ Edgecombe. This is why Mag has been inserted into the game. But Dallin Hall right there, that is a foul. Edgecombe trying to work his way towards the basketball. Hall gets his arms wrapped around him.
16 foul. Wright buries another. They had sagged off of Rob Wright. Now he's hit 2 big ones.
Well, but coming into this game, he was 1 for 11 from 3 in the last 4. Has not been shooting it great, but Rob Wright, we talk about confidence. These 2 freshmen for Baylor, VJ Edgecombe, Rob Wright, they are about as confident of freshmen as you will see in the country.
And now another freshman at the controls for the Cougars. Yegor Demon kicks out. Mag rises. He hits! Right in the face of Conor McGregor.
And those are the shots right there, Mike, that you kind of got to live with. Mag is not known as a scorer, really not known as a three-point specialist. So if he hits one, it's not the end of the world, but Demon's so good at getting into the lane and hitting people on time, on target. Look at this. You fall asleep one bit, Demon is going to make you pay. And Mag, the recipient of a great pass.
Literally steps in front of Conor McGregor, who was there watching, has been here throughout, part of a packed and famous crowd.
Previous play after the made bucket is under review.
Officials will have a look at this with 2:01 to go. And Mawit Mag, 27% from three for his career. Stepped up and hit it.
And you can't overreact right there. Like you said, the numbers, 27%, they speak for themselves. BJ Edgecombe contested it. Mag hit a tough shot. Not the end of the world if you're Baylor. He's the guy in Mag that you want.
After review, there is no foul.
Guess they're checking the whole Mag and Edgecombe, what happened over there. It was nothing. Nothing happened.
Yep. Just tied up. He says, my bad. We certainly have gotten our money's worth with reviews tonight. I will say that.
We definitely have, Mike.
All right, so 2:01 to go. Baylor, shorthanded like we said, preseason number 18 in the country, trying to make it a 3-game winning streak. This would be one of their better wins of the season. For BYU, it might be their best win of the season to this point, if they can hang on and pull this off. Still a long way to go. And Wright is good on the first. A 4th straight start for Rob Wright. Top 25 in our ESPN 100. Who has adjusted to this level. Scott Drew was telling us earlier today, dealing with the college length, all the while still being an elite facilitator. He's got the last 8 for Baylor. Saunders got it up court to Demon. Demon, quick trigger, got it to go.
And that's what he can do at 6'9". He can finish over the top of you, and that's good defense right there by BJ Edgecombe. It's just hard to stop a high-level player at that size.
Omer back out for Wright, driving on Hall. Wright hangs, gets the roll. 10 straight Baylor points belong to Rob Wright.
Right now, if you're Baylor, you have to hone into the defensive side. You have to get stops down by 4 with 1:20 to go. You have to get stops and rely on your defense.
And for BYU, the ball in the hands of Demon. Wright might have got away with one there. Approaching the final minute. Shot clock below 10. Demon off the bounce on Edgecombe. Now Saunders. And he walked with it. So Baylor does get the stop.
And that is good one-on-one defense. It started with BJ Edgecombe. This is what NBA scouts want to see. They know that he is about as athletic of a player in college basketball, but can he really sit down and defend right there? Stops Demon from being able to get to the lane, allows no separation. Good one-on-one defense right there by Baylor.
Down by 4. Final minute. Wright turned the corner. Finishes with the left hand, and it's a 2-point game.
The pace that he plays with as a freshman is so impressive.
He's been so under control.
That is what I have been so impressed with all year. Watching the poise, coming off the ball screen, taking his time. Rob Wright is elite.
Kevin Young takes one of his 2 remaining timeouts. We'll step aside as well. Back in 30 seconds to Provo.
To the burst, the stop-start, so elite. Elite point guards can change paces, and his burst out of a hesitation or out of a stop is so impressive and so elite. Not too many point guards can change paces the way that Rob Wright can.
So BYU with the basketball. 20 seconds separating the game and the shot clock. Baylor content to play this out. Yegor Demon. to Dallin Hall. 2 point guards on the floor for Kevin Young. Richie Saunders turns the corner on right. Late shot clock. Got to do something with it. Demon off the bounce. Rises. Can't hit. And up for the rebound. Edgecombe got it. Ooh. Crowd wanted to walk. They didn't get it. Shot clock is off. 10 seconds to go. Baylor out of timeouts, down by 2. Rob Wright with it. Spinning on the baseline. Draws a foul. With 4.3 left.
Ooh, the move right there, Mike. The spin to go baseline. Definitely a foul, but he got bailed out right there because he was going absolutely nowhere. He was underneath the rim.
It's on Mags, 0 and White. Rob Wright is still flexing out his right leg, just reached down at it, and has to step into 2 of the biggest free throws of his life. 80% this season for the freshman from Wilmington, Delaware. Good on the first.
Just so calm, so poised, going to the line. Unfazed by the moment. Is Norchad Omir's jersey ripped?
It is. Right down the middle. Second free throw for Rob Wright. Cold-blooded. On the road, into the teeth of the Rock. The student section here at Provo, and Rob Wright ties this game for Baylor for the first time since it was 6-all in the first few minutes.
Man, he has taken over this ball game. He's the one guy for Baylor that can get into the paint and create whenever he wants. I call him a late shot clock guy. A guy who you don't need to run a play for, but at the end of the shot clock, under 5, can generate his own offense, can get to the lane, and cause havoc for a defense. Rob Wright, the freshman, one of the best freshman point guards, not only in the Big 12, but in the country.
All right, so let's flip it to BYU. Kevin Young in that huddle, first-year head coach. Where's he going?
Yeah, I mean, if you're like Fran Fraschilla always says, it's 1 dribble per second. So you have 4 dribbles. Right now, you have options. That's the good thing about this BYU team. Demon really hasn't gotten it done in the second half. I would either go to Cannon Catchings or Richie Saunders. I'd prefer Richie Saunders getting downhill. That is your best offense. Try to find something to allow Richie Saunders full speed, full head of steam, getting downhill. With his size, his strength, I think he can really cause pressure and maybe draw a foul on his Baylor defense.
He's been their best player this season. Tonight, their best player has been Cannon Catchings. You mentioned career high 23. He just checked in off the bench. 6 in White. No timeouts on either side. 4.3 seconds left. Demon runs the baseline, gives it back to Hall, into Catchings, and I think the clock started when Demon had tossed it over to Hall to inbound. Shouldn't have started just yet. So we'll do it again. Demon is allowed to run the baseline still, and he does. And he goes back to Hall. Clock doesn't start. Now it does. Here's Demon into the front court. Yegor Demon for Hall. Did not get it off. Shot no good, and we are headed to overtime.
And that right there, a good play, but took way too long to set up. Baylor trapped him, and as soon as he got across half court, which took away the shot. But good play, good drive, but it was just a little too long.
Norchad Omir does have a new jersey on, by the way, because as you spotted at the free throw line, it was ripped right down the middle between the E and the A, tracking between the 1 and the 5. So now it's a 5 and a 0 for Norchad Omir. Don't get it twisted.
Almost like he ripped it.
Off the tap, Trevin Nell lays it in. Kebakeda won the tap against Omir. Wright, Nunn, Ojanwuna, Edgecombe, and Omir. The 5 starters on the floor to begin overtime as well for the Bears. None for Wright. Edgecombe still has Mag shadowing him. Wright, tough shot, no. Loose ball, O'Meara. Shot clock didn't reset. Nunn's got to get it up. Hall.
Good decision right there by Hall. You didn't have the numbers. Pull it out, set up your offense. Good decision right there.
His two elite offenses, top 20 in the country per Ken Palm, have operated that way tonight. Hall sticks it. Only his second bucket tonight.
He hasn't scored in the last 2 games, but Kevin Young trusts this young man. He's been in at the end of regulation, and now he's in overtime. Kevin Young trusts that Dallin Hall.
Edgecombe. Big time answer. These freshmen are unfazed.
Doesn't matter the moment. They live for this.
2-point spread. Hall for Saunders. Found an opening and laid it in.
Once again, Mike, he is so good at driving closeouts. If you take bad angles, he will cut you off and beat you to the rim.
Right. Gave it up for Nunn. Off the bounce. Nunn got fouled. It's on Trevin Nell, his third.
Take a look at these last 2 buckets by BYU. Dallin Hall just rising up in this moment. And then VJ Edgecombe following it back, and Richie Saunders. You take a bad angle, my man is getting to the cup.
Richie Saunders, who has been so good for BYU this season, said Kevin Young has helped him raise his own sights of who he could be as a player. Has Saunders dreaming of the NBA now. Nunn misses the first.
And if you look at it last year, Saunders was a role player. He was an energy guy that came off the bench, and that was his role. And he goes from energy guy to now #1 on the scouting report, and he's handled it really well. It's a major difference to be an energy guy and then to be the main focal point of a team.
Jaden Nunn just missed both. 64% this season, 71% for his career. Came up empty. It's been a poor free throw shooting night for Baylor. 11 for 18 overall, 61%. BYU by 4. Hall off the bounce. Moved it for Saunders. Attacking again on the baseline with the floater. Right, spinning and adjusting, and he got fouled. It's on Richie Saunders, his 4th.
Let's take a look at this last Saunders bucket. Look at how he rips and drives immediately. Sees O'Meara coming over for the contest. Doesn't allow him to even contest. Gets to his floater. And he's automatic in that range.
Told us today he had never had someone of Kevin Young's stature say to him that he should be thinking about the NBA for his future. And it has totally shifted where he's had his expectations this year.
I mean, I was talking to an NBA scout before the game, and we were actually talking about the same thing. Richie Saunders is a guy who I think with his size, with his athleticism, with his shooting ability, he's a sneaky guy that a lot of teams would love to have come off their bench, and he's older. He's a veteran. So another year, next year if he stays, he's playing with a guy like AJ DeBanster. I mean, this BYU team is going to be dangerous next year with AJ and him.
No question.
But he's definitely a guy who should be considering that and who should be thinking that way.
Rob Wright made both. Baylor gets a trap in the corner on Dallin Hall. And it's out of bounds off of Hall, so Baylor gets possession. Dallin Hall's been in there in overtime for Yegor Demon, the stud top 10 draft prospect who now returns for Nell. So 2 point guards on the floor. Hall, who's been the starting point guard for much of his 3 years here in Provo, recently relegated to the bench, gave it away there. So Baylor's got it down by 4. Edgecombe set the screen for Wright. Back out Edgecombe. He rises. Knocks it down. 1-point game.
He's so impressive, Mike. He's so impressive. Knocking down shots like that raises his stock so much.
Season high 6 made threes. Saunders, we got a foul first on the floor. They say that they got Saunders on the arm. It's a foul on Jaden Nunn.
Let's take a look at this Edgecombe 3. I mean, at the beginning of the season, he wasn't knocking down shots like that, Mike. But now he's able to hit contested threes. And he just keeps growing and figuring out how to score on this level.
Mighty impressive. Saunders get on the first. The junior from in-state here in Utah, 73% this season coming in. Takes both. So, 3-point game. 2 minutes to go in overtime at the Marriott Center. Right. Back out for Nunn. O'Meara is looking for Edgecombe. Now finds him. Back to O'Meara for 3. Can't hit. Rebound Saunders. O'Meara collided with Demon, trying to run down his own miss, and they both come up a little bit hobbled. Inside of 90 seconds remaining. BYU patient, up by 3. Kevin Young directing.
They want O'Meara on one-on-one on Demon.
They got it. Yegor Demon going to work. Bottled up. Tough shot. He got fouled. O'Meara fouls out on a total bailout to end his night in overtime.
And once again, just not a smart foul right there by O'Meara. Demon was going absolutely nowhere. No need to reach your hand in there. No need to climb up in him. Just wall up. Put your hand straight up. If he knocks down the shot, so be it. But we've seen 3 fouls tonight by O'Meara that just weren't smart fouls. And no need to put Demon on the free throw line and give him 3 shots when he was going absolutely nowhere.
Picked up 3 in the first half. 2 of them, or 2 of the 3 in total, paired with that one that you didn't like. He picked up his 4th with 6:36 left in the second half. Survived all the way to this point, and then is done for the night on that. A frustrating end to his night, and it plants Yegor Demon at the line.
I will say, with him on the bench and Celestine on the floor now, the offense does get better. The spacing will be better because Celestine is a knockdown shooter that you have to respect. O'Meara is not that. So some of the threes that we saw O'Meara miss, that we saw BYU give to him, you cannot give Celestine those same looks because he will knock him down.
Demon splits on the first 2 of the 3 he's got coming his way. 67% for the freshman from Russia. 5-point lead for the Cougars. A timeout for Baylor if it needs it. Edgecombe will initiate. Mawit Mag on him. Around the screen, behind the back. And now Nunn for Wright. Right off the bounce. And Wright got fouled. Baylor saying they should look at it for goaltending as well. In the meantime, the foul's on Saunders, and that'll be 5 on Saunders. So Richie Saunders, who's been BYU's best and most consistent player this season, he has fouled out as well.
Let's take a look at this.
Leaning on
I mean, they make a great case right there. I don't think the ball had a chance of going in, but they might have an argument. But I think they're not reviewing it because the ball did not have a chance of going in.
And so Rob Wright to the line for 2. He is 7 of 7 at the line tonight. This game has had a little bit of everything. How good has this been?
This has been an elite level game. Welcome to the Big 12, Mike Monaco.
Yes, sir. Rob Wright's good on both, and he has matched his career high in this freshman season with 22. BYU in to Mag. The 2 point guards on the floor for Kevin Young.
If you're Baylor, you have to make sure you get this stop without fouling. You have to guard without your hands. Play solid.
23-second difference, game and shot clocks. Mag comes to set the screen. Edgecombe switches on to Hall. Not known for his scoring. Lost the handle. Hall has to throw it up. Got blocked by Edgecombe.
I don't know why you would set that screen and send BJ Edgecombe as the primary defender when you had Celestine on him. You had the mismatch right there. I don't know why they send up BJ Edgecombe.
Here is Edgecombe, and he gets fouled. So up by 3, BYU electing to foul VJ Edgecombe.
And you see this a lot from guys in the NBA. They believe in fouling to take away any chances you have of even getting up a three-point shot. Great awareness right there by Kevin Young to tell his team to foul with 11 seconds to go.
So Edgecombe will head to the line, sitting on 27 points tonight. 77% at the line this season. 3 of 3 this evening. Good on the first. He has met the moment throughout this night. BYU subs and brings on Mihailo Bošković, first-year player, 6'10" for the first time tonight, for some added size.
And right here, BJ Edgecombe, if he makes this free throw, he missed it.
And an immediate timeout granted to Kevin Young and BYU.
And I would have fouled immediately. As soon as Traore got that basketball, I would have fouled immediately.
So 10.6 to go. BYU's got it, up by 2.
And that was a great sub right there. Kevin Young puts in the size to secure the rebound, and as soon as he gets the rebound, now you call the timeout and get in your shooters, get in your free throw shooters. So if you're Baylor, 10 seconds to go, you want to try to get a quick steal. Do not allow more than 2 seconds to go off this clock. You want to foul around 8. Go for a quick steal if you can get it good. If not, foul immediately. You don't really want to foul Trevor Nail. You don't want to foul Baker. Anybody else is fair game.
Scott Drew talking things over right now. Again, we came into the night talking about the star-studded freshmen who are possible, if not likely, first-round picks. Certainly Edgecombe and Demon tracking toward the lottery. And then Cannon Catchings upstaged everyone for much of this night. 23 points, a season high for him. And this has been an absolute dandy between Baylor and BYU.
Kevin Young puts in 4 guards in Baker, Nell, Hall, and Dimon. All of them are fairly good shooters.
Hall's probably the guy you want to foul.
Yeah, either Hall or Dimon. I mean, Dimon has missed 1 or 2 in this game. Hall or Dimon is probably your best bet right now.
Both in the 60s percentage-wise for their career. It's Demon, got it away to Baker. Time soaking off the clock, and finally a foul with 6.3. So you said 2 seconds. Yeah. It's more like 4+ seconds before the foul on Dawson Baker.
Yeah, ideally, you would like to be at 8 seconds to be able to draw something up and be able to execute something, but 4 seconds comes off the clock.
And a very giftable Scott Drew right there just summoned his team to give them some instruction before the free throws. He's saying what he wants to do with his remaining timeout, depending on how these free throws go.
And if he makes the first one, don't be surprised if Scott Drew calls a timeout in between to try to ice the shooter.
Dawson Baker, one of the oldest players in college basketball, 25-year-old, 74% this year, 79% for his career. He's good on the first. Got through. Doesn't look like he's going to use it quite yet. So no icing there. He will keep it in the pocket for now. Baker makes both. The lead is 4 for BYU. 6.3 to go. Last vestiges of hope for Baylor. Ojanwana, the last to touch it. Cannon Catchings was superb. 23 points. 8 of 8 from the floor, including 4 for 4 from 3.
Super impressive. I mean, at the end of the game, you would like to see a guy like him in there, but Kevin Young going with his veterans, going with his guys he knows to close games out.
It's in the hall. And no foul from Baylor. BYU takes down Baylor in overtime. And how about Cannon Catchings? First guy in the Big 12 this year to go 20-plus points and